Shows Phil Hartman in a suit holding a microphone. Hartman.
Hello, I'm Art Philman with Here BS News. Today we will be looking into the controversy surrounding the Illinois High School Association Girls Wrestling Championship, with the title match set for this Sunday.
Cuts to a shirtless Crystal Farley with her nipples blurred out while lifting weights. Hartman.
The controversy surrounds St. Ignatius High School's Leslie Mann. No, not the Hollywood starlet, but the transgender female wrestler who has dominated the competition this year with her size and strength.
Cuts to a picture of Farley as a child. Hartman.
Leslie was born Leslie. You know, like Leslie Nielsen. She was a boy who excelled at sports, particularly football and wrestling.
Cuts to footage of John Belushi and Farley in high school wrestling uniforms wrestling each other. Hartman.
Last year as a junior, Leslie Mann lost to Wheaton Central's Jack Beluski in the boys' high school championship.
Cuts to Farley standing shirtless in front of a mirror. Hartman.
After the devastating defeat, Leslie became Leslie by ingesting estrogen pills.
Shows Farley shirtless ingesting several estrogen pills in front of the mirror. As he does so, his nipples are blurred out. Cuts to footage of Farley and Jan Hooks wrestling, with Farley having a raging hard-on and dry humping Hooks. Hartman.
Despite Leslie Mann becoming a woman, she still wrestles in a very masculine manner.
Shows Farley forcing Hooks' head towards Farley's crotch while Farley does a humping motion. Cuts to a pregnant Denitra Vance walking down a high school hallway. Hartman.
Despite the estrogen pills, Leslie's masculinity seems to remain. In her first match this year, she impregnated her opponent.
Cuts to Hartman and Vance sitting in chairs as Hartman interviews Vance. Vance.
The police said it wasn't assault since it happened during a wrestling match. And the state won't recognize Leslie as the father since she's a girl now. I gotta raise this baby all on my own.
Cuts to footage of Farley entering a woman's locker room as all the women start grabbing towels and run away. Hartman.
Despite the controversy surrounding Leslie, she doesn't see a problem.
Cuts to Farley and Hartman sitting in chairs in the locker room, with Hartman interviewing Farley. Farley.
Here, since when does anyone care who the father is when a black chick in high school gets knocked up?
Hartman.
But don't you see it as hypocritical that you're wrestling as a woman, yet you were able to use your penis to impregnate?
Farley. It's a clitoris now. Hartman.
Excuse me?
Farley gets up out of her chair, removes her wrestling gear, and exposes herself, and grabs her blurred-out crotch and yells, "It's insensitive after my transition to call my former cock a penis. It's a clit now, you insensitive pig." Hartman.
Since when is a clitoris capable of impregnating its opponent during a wrestling match?
As Farley uses her hand to twirl her sexual appendage in a clockwise motion, she yells, "Since now, bitch, it's 2022. Cuts to Gilda Radner running in a high school gymnasium. Hartman.
We spoke to Mann's upcoming opponent, Patty Patrick, about her upcoming match.
Cuts to Radner and Hartman sitting in chairs in the gymnasium, with Radner being interviewed. Radner.
I'm just looking at it like any other match. I think if I can get her to get winded, I have a chance to pin her.
Hartman.
Aren't you worried about her size?
Radner.
Well, at the overnight wrestling camps my coach has at his house, where I'm the only one who ever seems to be invited, Coach insists that size doesn't matter. So I'm not too worried about his size.
Hartman.
Aren't you worried about getting pregnant?
Radner.
Well, after the scare I had at Coach's overnight wrestling camp, I'm on birth control now. And live from Tom's phone, we're not alive. It's Saturday Night Live, starring an ever-evolving cast that is unionized and refuses to allow their names to be mentioned until their demands are met. Musical guest, Calloway, and your host, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Ladies and gentlemen, Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Applause, applause, applause. Roosevelt.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to be here. And you should get used to me being here. I'm not going anywhere. Nowhere had it been set in stone, but previously there's been a practice that the host has only hosted one show. But with soaring inflation and the war in Ukraine raging on, I think it's only fitting that I continue to host this show here on out. No, I'm kidding. As based on the emergencies occurring both at home, the Great Depression, and abroad, World War II, I was elected to serve as president 4 consecutive terms, even though no president before me had served more than 2. Though it was a good thing that I did, as historians generally rank me among the top 3 United States presidents in history.
Applause, applause, applause. Rodney Dangerfield comes out. Dangerfield.
Hey, how's it going, FDR?
Roosevelt.
I'm doing fine. How are you, Mr. Dangerfield?
Dangerfield.
Well, the thing is, I'm really down in the dumps. I mean, I got the blues really bad. I mean, really bad. Okay, I've tried pills, shrinks, everything. Nothing seems to help.
Roosevelt.
Have you tried a series of programs, public work projects, financial reforms and regulations?
Dangerfield.
No, what's that?
Roosevelt.
The New Deal. It worked last time I had to cure a Great Depression. And folks, just know I don't write the material. Anyway, we have a great show tonight. Calloway is here, so stick around as Heidi, 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 hi, and Hody, 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 ho. We'll be right back.